Are you at peace or are you distracted? Thank you for joining me on another episode of Peace of Mind, where peace is not perfect, but it's powerful. I'm your host, Danny Marie. Peace is a state that already lives within you. So you have to be peace before anyone can add to it. People can support your peace. People can amplify your peace. They can disturb your peace. They can't create it for you. If you're not already rooted in peace, you'll constantly chase it in people, places, and situations. And that kind of peace is fragile. Real peace is when you know how to stir it up from within, that the storm surrounding you does not shake the stillness within you. So what is peace? Peace has very different layers to it. So let's talk about peace, right? There's typically three types of peace. Let's first start off with personal peace. What is personal peace? It's a state of calmness, contentment, and freedom from mental instability. Second, let's talk about social and political peace, which is basically absence of war, violence, or conflict between individuals. Spiritual peace is a deep sense of harmony and alignment, often tied to faith and higher power. You see, growing up, I never thought about peace. Some may say living with the absence of thought. That's how I was living, I guess. However, how do you access peace? Well, the only way to access peace is through inner work. See, when I was younger, I was living from a place of survival mode, right? I was figuring out life, figuring out myself, figuring out my finances, figuring out my career, figuring out my personal life, my relationships, all of it. So one can say I was not in a state of peace, and I was not a peaceful person. As my father would say, you can't expect to live a peaceful life if you're not a peaceful person. See, self-work clears all the noise from your spirit, the resentment, the fear, the false identity, and the unresolved pain. It's what strips everything away that tells you you're not enough, you're not safe, you're not whole. When you start doing the work, healing your wounds, regulating your emotion, figuring out your triggers, forgiving both yourself and others, you'll stop looking for peace as a reward, and you'll realize it's always been there underneath the chaos. You don't create peace, you uncover it. You don't chase peace, you choose it daily. You don't wait for others to give you peace. You protect your peace because it's yours. When you do the inner work, you become a steady place. And when you become a steady place, no other person have the power to shake or break your peace. See, that's the power of self-work. It doesn't give you peace. It gives you back the ownership of your peace. This message is not to obfuscate that some people, even some environments, are truly not peaceful. And you are not being called to tolerate. But do not let that truth become an excuse to ignore yourself. You see, self-evaluation is essential to ask, how can I, or how might I, be contributing to the chaos, to my mental chaos? The center of wellness is not just protection from what's outside, but taking accountability for what's within. And if you're seeking peace from others or from your environment, you must first ask yourself, how am I contributing to peace? Am I a peaceful person? Am I being peaceful at this time? Are my thoughts peaceful? Are my behaviors peaceful? You cannot demand what you don't embody. True mental wellness must first start with self-awareness and accountability. Recognizing that peace that you crave and deserve must first be cultivated from within. Self-work is not easy. It is in fact work, the intentional act of labor. But if you endure, there's a personal harvest made for you, only for you, waiting for you to reap it. Comment below. Can you share a time where your self-awareness changed your mental state? Don't be the enemy, because the ultimate enemy, the real enemy, is your inner me. Share, subscribe, and follow. And I thank you again for joining us on another episode of Peace of Mind. I hope this episode enriched your peace of mind. See you soon.